I'm still kind of shaking as I type this out. What happened on Saturday night was so utterly surreal. I'm not even sure how to process it. I've always known my family was cruel to me, but this crossed into a whole new level of twisted. Quick background: I've always been the family disappointment. Not in a he's just going through a phase way, but in a deeply ingrained this one's defective way. I dropped out of college after 2 years of severe panic attacks and depression that nobody in my family ever acknowledged as real. Meanwhile, my brother Mark, 37, and my sister Rachel, 29, are the golden children with their fancy degrees and high-powered jobs that my parents never stop bragging about. I moved 3 states away after dropping out, taught myself photography, built a solid client list, and now I make really good money, like own my place outright money. But I never corrected my family's assumption that I was barely scraping by. Every time they'd sneer about my little camera hobby during holidays, I just changed the subject. They'd already decided who I was a decade ago. Last week, I got this weirdly formal invitation in the mail for my cousin Jacob's professional achievement celebration, an upscale restaurant called Oriole. It felt off right away. My family doesn't do formal invites, but some desperate part of me still wanted their approval, so I RSVP'd yes. I even bought a nice card, put on my best suit, and drove 45 minutes to the restaurant on Saturday. When I arrived, the host looked deeply uncomfortable when I gave my name. He checked the list twice and then informed me I was banned from the private event. According to their notes, I was not allowed in. I stood there confused when I glanced through the window into the private room and saw over 40 relatives raising glasses in a toast. Everyone was there: aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole family. Before I could process what was happening, my mom burst through the doors recording me on her phone and shouted loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear. The family clown finally crawled out of his hole. "Did you practice your speech while begging for change?" The restaurant went dead silent. Every table turned to stare. My dad barreled out behind her, face furious, bellowing, "Witness this. 32 years of breathing and nothing to show for it. Proof that evolution can go backward." He gestured at me like I was a zoo exhibit. My sister pushed past them, grabbed someone else's phone. They were all coordinating, and yelled, "The genetic disaster we hide from society. His shoes are held together by grocery bags and prayers." I was wearing $600 Italian leather shoes, but whatever. My brother somehow seized the restaurant's announcement microphone and boomed to the entire dining room. He's gripping a 99-cent card, probably stole the envelope. "Still think your worthless existence matters here?" Waiters froze with their trays. The host tried to calm things down. Then my 83-year-old grandfather shuffled out, pounding his cane, shouting, I was the stain on our family name. They should have left me at the hospital. My Uncle Robert, who I used to go fishing with as a kid, joined in. Even rats have more dignity than this walking failure. One by one, every member of my family took turns hurling increasingly vicious insults. This wasn't spontaneous. They'd planned it. The celebration was a trap to lure me there for coordinated public humiliation. They'd even instructed the host to block my entry. People in the restaurant filmed everything. Some looked horrified, others uncomfortably entertained. The manager was calling security. And that's when it hit me, this would never stop. I could become a billionaire tomorrow, and they'd still see me as their punching bag. Something inside me snapped, not into anger, just cold clarity. I smiled. That threw them off. The shouting faltered. What they didn't know, 6 months earlier, I'd quietly bought a significant ownership stake in the restaurant group that owns Oriole. One of my photography clients had mentioned they were looking for investors, and I jumped in. I reached into my jacket, pulled out 2 sealed envelopes, handed one to the manager who had just arrived, and held the other toward my family. My father snatched it like it was trash. Without a word, I turned and walked out. Behind me, I heard the manager say, "One moment, sir. You're one of our major investors?" And my mother's voice instantly shifted from mockery to confusion. I drove home in total silence. No music, no calls. When I got home, I poured a whiskey, sat on my balcony, and stared at the city lights. I knew exactly what was in those envelopes, and I knew what would happen next. The first contained proof of my ownership and instructions to permanently ban every person on my family's list from all 14 properties in the group. The second contained something far worse. I slept like a baby that night. Maybe because I finally accepted these people would never change, and I was done hoping. The next morning my phone exploded. 73 missed calls, voicemails choking with fake tears, texts begging forgiveness. Not because they were sorry, but because they finally realized who they'd been mocking and what I could now do to them. See, I'd quietly documented every financial favor they'd asked of me over the years, every loan they never repaid, every time they destroyed my credit because theirs was shot, every investment opportunity they begged for when they were desperate. They were about to discover exactly how much they depended on the family disappointment. This is already long, so I'll update later with what happened next. But tell me honestly, am I going too far? Sometimes, I think yes. Then I remember my entire family orchestrating my public humiliation in front of strangers, and I think maybe I haven't gone far enough. Update 1. Thanks for the support. It honestly kept me steady this week. After the restaurant, I felt this strange numbness. Your whole family, people who are supposed to care, set up an elaborate public execution of your dignity. For what? Dropping out of college? Not becoming a doctor or a lawyer? Daring to live differently? Monday I took off work, sat at my kitchen table with my laptop, and went through every record I'd kept. Not because I ever planned revenge, but because they'd screwed me so many times I started protecting myself. The second envelope my dad grabbed contained a decade of loans with interest calculations, all long overdue. Dad, the man who called me backward evolution, begged me for $60,000 3 years ago to save his business. Promised repayment in 6 months. Never mentioned it again. Rachel, Miss Perfect Lawyer who mocked my shoes, needed $25,000 for her condo down payment 2 years ago after maxing her cards. Swore she'd repay from her next bonus. Never did. Mark, microphone guy, borrowed nearly $40,000 total for emergencies that were mostly gambling losses he hid from his wife. Grandpa, who called me a stain, had me paying his heart meds for 2 years when insurance lapsed. Total owed just over $200,000. The envelope also included a letter from my attorney giving them 30 days to repay in full or sign binding agreements, or we'd pursue liens, wage garnishment, everything legal. Tuesday morning, my dad showed up at my loft. No idea how he got the address. The doorman called. I said no. 20 minutes later, he's forcing his way into the elevator as I'm heading to the garage, screaming I'm destroying the family, that this is vindictive, that family doesn't do this. I looked him in the eye and said, public humiliation in a packed restaurant isn't what family does either. He tried to grab me. I warned him I'd call the police for assault. The doorman intervened. As the doors closed, Dad yelled I'd come crawling back when I realized how alone I was. I'd never felt less alone. Wednesday night, Mom showed up crying to the doorman about a family emergency. I had him threaten to call the cops if she didn't leave. She called me sobbing, claiming tough love, that I was taking it too far, that Dad's business would collapse, Rachel might lose her condo. I laughed and asked if recording me while calling me the family clown was her idea of support. She switched to, "We're sorry if you felt hurt by our joke." I told her they'd treated me like garbage while using me as their ATM, and the restaurant was the final straw. Then I hung up. Thursday, my cousin Jacob, the one whose celebration it supposedly was, reached out saying he had no idea that they told him it was a surprise party for my birthday, which is 6 months away. I said I'd think about coffee. Friday, my brother tried negotiating with my lawyer. His wife found out about the gambling and is divorcing unless he gets finances under control. Rachel tried claiming her $25,000 was a gift, despite texts promising repayment. Friday night, my Aunt Karen called with bombshell context. When I was born, doctors cautiously said I might need extra help. Nothing confirmed. Dad decided I was defective from that moment. Started college funds for my siblings, but not me. When Rachel tested gifted, it sealed the narrative. All my later evaluations were normal, but Dad had already made up his mind.
I'm still processing that.
It's been 1 week. The restaurant bans are causing chaos in their social circle. My lawyer is moving forward. They have no idea how much more leverage I have. I'm done being the punching bag. More updates coming. Update 2. My brother showed up drunk and unhinged the next morning. Ranted that I was destroying the family, his wife was leaving, he could lose his license. I let him finish, then asked why I should care when he grabbed a microphone to call me worthless in public. I played a recording of him doing exactly that. He lunged for my phone. Security pinned him. As they dragged him out, he screamed, "I'd regret this." I sent the full lobby recording, including threats, to his wife. She texted thanking me. It was the final proof she needed for the divorce. That night, Rachel called pretending sympathy, warning I was going too far. Turns out her firm has a morals clause. A senior partner is on a charity board that uses one of my banned restaurants. The manager explained why she was banned, and now she's facing disciplinary review that could kill her partnership.
She blamed me.
I reminded her she chose to scream, "Genetic disaster" on camera. Wednesday, my dad's business partner Kevin asked for coffee. Turns out Dad embezzled another $100,000 from the company on top of my $60,000. Kevin wanted records. I gave copies. He said he'd always wondered why Dad spoke of me with disgust. Now he thinks it was projection. Thursday, I met cousin Jacob. He showed texts proving my parents lied to him about the party. Thursday night, Mom showed up at my office crying. Security escorted her out while she wailed. I was breaking her heart. Friday, my Aunt Karen slipped a letter under my door with proof Dad had undermined me to teachers and coaches my whole childhood, telling them not to expect much because I had issues, despite my above-average records. Friday afternoon, my sister showed me documents proving Dad took a secret second mortgage, lost most of it on bad investments, and had been draining Mom's retirement to cover it. He'd also been calling my clients claiming I'm unstable, trying to destroy my business. 3 clients got calls but didn't believe him. Saturday, Kevin forced Dad out of the company using years of financial misconduct evidence. Sunday night, Dad texted he's coming Monday with proof. I've been manipulated. I told security, do not let him in under any circumstances. Final update. Monday morning, Dad showed up ranting in the lobby. Police were called. He went ballistic, got handcuffed, and earned a 72-hour psych hold. Mom called sobbing. She'd found proof of Dad's decade-long affair and massive secret spending. Their whole success image was a lie. Tuesday, I learned my brother was admitted for alcohol poisoning. Wednesday, Rachel's firm put her on leave. The restaurant story spread through legal circles. Thursday, my parents offered their vacation home, worth less than they owe me, plus a no-contact agreement and public apology to the whole family if I dropped the loan collection. I accepted, with those exact conditions. Friday, the apology email went out to the extended family. It was brutally honest, admitting Dad decided I was defective at birth based on a cautious doctor comment, that they undermined me for decades, borrowed money while mocking me, and culminated in the restaurant ambush. Responses poured in: shock, regret, apologies. Saturday, 20 relatives, no parents, held a meeting at Jacob's. One by one, they apologized for participating or staying silent. I told them trust takes time, but I'm open to respectful relationships and will never again be the punching bag. Rachel handed me a $25,000 check, first installment on what she owes. Sunday, Kevin discovered Dad had created a trust fund for me at birth, then drained it and gave the money to my siblings after the defective label. It's now 2 weeks after the restaurant. Dad is in longer-term psychiatric care. Mom is staying with her sister, processing the affair and lies. Brother in rehab. Rachel fighting to save her career. I own the vacation property outright, planning to sell it and donate half the proceeds to organizations helping kids with developmental disabilities, because I know what it's like to be labeled broken when you're not. Some family ties may heal with time and genuine effort. Others are dead forever, and I'm at peace with that. I never set out to destroy them. I just refuse to be their victim anymore. Sometimes the best revenge is simply standing up and watching their house of cards collapse under its own weight. Thank you all for the support through this nightmare. Knowing strangers had my back meant everything. This is Once Loyal, signing off for now. Stay strong out there.